Big Northern Bear here, and today we're going to talk about the keto diet and having AFib. How I use the keto diet to lose 108 pounds in the past 7 months, the good and the bad about being on the keto diet, some special considerations. Can keto cause you to have AFib if you're otherwise healthy? If you have AFib, can going keto trigger an episode and keep you in AFib? Or can it improve your condition? Stick around, I'm going to talk about all of that. Let's talk about the keto diet. So first I'd like to apply a definition so that we're all talking about the same thing. A keto diet is different from a low carb diet. Keto diet typically has less than 50 grams of carbs. Some people say net carbs, but I would say 50 grams of total carbs. You're pretty much guaranteed to be in ketosis. You want to be high fat and moderate protein. So that to me is a keto diet. There's also a high fat, low protein, which is equally valid as a ketogenic diet. I would say if you're strength building, you want to go to the more moderate protein. So why would you do it? Why do the keto diet? Well, it naturally reduces appetite, and if you're trying to lose weight, that's a great thing. It can improve insulin sensitivity, so if you're diabetic like I was, or pre-diabetic, you definitely want to improve your insulin sensitivity. Another great thing, and it can enhance your other weight loss efforts. So if you're counting calories and doing keto, it definitely seems, at least in my experience, an acceleration effect there. So that's great. It helps you get the weight off faster and maybe with a little less appetite along the way. So my experience with AFib is that in Halloween, basically the day after Halloween 2021, I decided to start dieting, and whenever I wanted to lose some weight, I would go keto. That was my standby. But now I have AFib, so talked to my cardiologist. He said, go for it, try it out. There's really no evidence saying it's bad or good, so I really trust my cardiologist. He's a really smart guy. He's very empirical. He's very up on the research. So with his blessing, I gave it a shot, but my experience was rather mixed at the time. Well, actually, it was terrible. I'll be honest, it was terrible, because around a day and a half, 2 days, when I started testing positive for ketones, my heart rate would suddenly go into SVT, supraventricular tachycardias, and for me, that's how my AFib episodes precipitate. It starts as an SVT for a while, and then it converts to AFib, and then I'm in trouble. So when I started feeling that happening, I would just take my pill in the pocket beta blocker to slow my heart rate down, and I'd immediately ingest some rapid carbs just to kill the whole keto thing. I did that a couple times, and I gave up. So I gave up. I started counting calories instead, and I was counting calories, and I started doing some time restricted feeding. So I was basically fasting 14 hours every day, and I was doing my workouts fasted. So after a little while of doing that, I noticed that around 1 in the afternoon every day, I had this taste in my mouth that I recognized as the taste I get when I'm in ketosis. So I bought some test strips, and sure enough, it turned out around 1 o'clock every day I was going into ketosis. And then when I would break my fast, my 14-hour fast, I would switch back, and the ketones would go away. So, but I was doing it without triggering my SVTs, which lead into my AFib. So I thought, wow, I've done a couple months of training now, fasted, and I've been metabolically switching during the day apparently. Maybe I can try keto again, and I did to great success. So I went back to keto. It wasn't triggering any SVTs, therefore not going to trigger any AFib for me. And I've had great success since, and now have used keto. I cycle in for a week or two and then back out, and I do this constantly, and it's been a great tool to keep my insulin sensitivity high, help suppress my appetite if it gets too run away from my non-keto weeks, and I seem to work out fine, so there's no concerns at all. So that's where I'm at with the keto diet. I'm entering a keto phase again right now, and that is actually starting today, and it's partly why I wanted to make this video as I go into it. So can keto cause AFib? There's been a lot of press lately about keto, but there's always press bad mouthing the keto diet, but I think the one that's really been going around is that new study shows that a keto diet increases your chance of having atrial fibrillation. And the problem with this study is that nobody studied was actually in ketosis. So there's a big difference between taking 10,000 people and looking at those 10,000 people and seeing, hey, the group that has higher fat in their standard American diet has worse outcomes than those who don't, and saying, okay, carbs are God and fat is the devil. That's make of those studies what you want, give them as much credit as you want, but those people are not doing the keto diet. So there's really no evidence that the keto diet in and of itself will cause an otherwise healthy person to develop atrial fibrillation. So that's not giving it a complete pass, however, and I'll get into that. The second thing is, if you already have like a paroxysmal or persistent atrial fibrillation where you go in and out of AFib for varying lengths of time, can going keto trigger an episode? And I have to be honest, I think there's two scenarios that could cause you to go into AFib. The first is if you're doing keto for the first time and you go through the keto flu. There's a little period of time in the keto flu, you only seem to go through it once, but when you go through it, it's called 100 cups of coffee. And your heart races a little bit faster than normal, and you feel this like sort of anxiety and jitteriness, and that seems to come for a couple of days right at the end of what they call the keto flu. And if you get through that, then usually you're golden. Now you've keto adapted and you can just be keto all you want, and you'll probably never have the keto flu again. Even if you stop being keto for years and go back on it, you're probably going to be just fine. So the keto flu is what the old Atkins diet used to call the induction period, and it sucks the first time you go through it. It's 5, 6, 7 days for most people, and it's not so bad that you can't do your job or anything. It just kind of sucks. But during that 100 cups of coffee, yeah, definitely there's something stimulating your heart a bit while it's trying to transition and learn how to burn ketones for fuel again. Because it did when you're in the womb, it burned ketones for fuel. But now that you're a grown adult, it's relearning how to do it. So that's one possibility. Another possibility is if you're in ketosis and let's say you do a 6-mile run or a big deadlift workout or something that's going to cause a huge spike in your ketones for the next few hours. So that will definitely sort of changes your metabolic profile a little bit. And if you have AFib, you know how touchy your heart can be, right? So really any sudden changes can trigger AFib, and being keto is a change. So maybe it's a change that doesn't affect your AFib at all, but I'm talking to a broad audience, and it's quite possible that this change can trigger an AFib episode. So you have to keep that in mind. This is not a risk-free scenario, okay? But compare that to the risk of staying overweight, not doing anything, or having a calorie-restricted appetite that doesn't control hunger and you can't stick to it. So life is sometimes choosing which route to take through that difficult road ahead. So important things to know about the keto diet is, first, the flu, as we've already discussed. Second thing is, it's not necessary to do keto to lose weight. In fact, you can get almost all the benefits by combining two other things. So one is be low carb, have about 125 grams of carbohydrate a day. If you exercise a lot, maybe 150. So you're low carb, count your calories, and do time restricted feeding. So fast 10 to 14 to 16 hours a day, and you'll probably have all the same benefits that you would have on a keto diet without actually doing the keto diet. So there's no reason to go on the keto diet. Another thing about the keto diet is you will feel like you're just sick of some of the food after a while, and you'll be looking to expand. So if you are someone who's has difficulty and you need a lot of variety, the keto diet might not be the best possible choice for you. Okay? Formulation. So to formulate a keto diet, I would suggest the best formulation is on your plate, to have it about 1/3 of meat and 2/3 of green vegetables, and on those vegetables either butter, or if it's salad, some sort of oil-based dressing, ideally olive oil. To me, if you could just eat that 4 or 5 times a day, you would definitely be keto and you would lose weight, and though your diet might become a bit boring and stale. But this is a good starting point, so I would suggest starting with that, not going out and stocking your pantry with keto snacks, Atkins snacks, keto bars, and that sort of thing. Now, a note on keto bars or any type of protein bars whatsoever: you want to go easy on these things. They can really plug you up, and not in a pleasant way. So I would just start off with meat and veg at first. And for drinks, I mean, if you drink coffee, that's fine. Switch to cream, it's delicious. Now you can enjoy some cream with your coffee instead of milk. So consider that. For sweeteners, you want to have some sweeteners on hand. I use Splenda. I love Splenda. But there's plenty of low carb sweeteners. Okay? And you want to have a plan for when you get a snack craving. So for me, my savior has been these little Jello cups you get. There's no sugar in them. They only come in 2 flavors, lime and strawberry. They're 4 calories each. They're pure gelatin. Gelatin is actually really good for you, and so I have 2 of those, and it seems to kill any sort of budding hunger. So I often get hungry right before bed, so I'll have 2 of those and I'm good. I can go to sleep no problem after that. So consider that. And a strategy I'll give you is, if you're going out to a restaurant, just look up the menu online in advance and decide what you're going to eat before you get there, and then when you get there, it's just easy peasy. You order the thing and you're good to go. So in conclusion, I would say, first, talk to your doctor. Keto diet's actually, it's one of the more difficult interventions. It's a lot of effort, so some people might even call it extreme. Is it worth it? Is it needed? I think maybe for most people, just start off with low carb, 100 to 125 grams of carbs a day, and count your calories, and then see if you can go 10 hours a day as a time restricted feeding. I think you're just going to be losing weight with that. And if you get along, let's say you get down 30-40 pounds and it starts to get a little more difficult, well, at that point in time, maybe consider keto, or just cut your calories a little bit. But keto can work, and I've made it work for me. I do it as a keto cycle. I do believe I could just go on keto for a year straight without any problems at this point. I feel I could do all my 5-mile runs no problem, all my powerlifting no problem. But I'm not here to be the keto champion. I'm here to help people deal with their AFib through lifestyle modifications. So this is just one tool and one option, and it's gotten a lot of press lately, which is why I wanted to cover it. So if you found this video useful, please subscribe on YouTube. There's a link to the channel. Hit the notification icon if you want to make sure you get notified of every video. I have a facebook.com/TheBigNorthernBear. You can find my page there, and I'll always post every video there as well going forward. And we have a couple support groups. So we have AFib and exercise, and living with AFib, and these 2 support groups are there for you. So the exercise group is strictly for people who do a lot of exercise on AFib. So anyone can follow the group, but you'll be asked a Q&A to determine whether you're allowed to post. Okay? And the Q&A is there just because we want to give these people who train really hard with AFib their own little space. And then there's more general lifestyle support official groups. So I'll always post all my new video links in those 2 groups and on my page. So follow me everywhere you can, and thanks for your time. Cheers.